like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
It's good.
Shout out. All right. Big ups to the black and gold. We in this thing. Sports Coma representing the mighty Who Dat Nation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's popping? How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing this Friday night? Big ups to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the live, man. And listen, fam, I just wanted to talk at y'all for a few tonight, man. Listen, a lot of stuff going on as it usually is. But listen, the crazy part about all of this is, right, man, we talk about stuff, man, and you be like, man, yeah, we be covering a lot. But fam, you know, the first thing I want to talk about, we see Michael Thomas. We're going to jump back into this one. But really, the one I really want to talk about at first is this one. Y'all see what I'm saying here? We talked about this last night. This wasn't even a story. We covered this and talked about this last night. And then today, the Saints hire Randy Mueller in an advisory role. We talked about this last night. The next thing you know, guess what? The Saints got Randy Mueller back. Y'all getting it now? Y'all getting this now? Are y'all getting it? Randy Mueller been gone since 2002. We talked about this last night. This wasn't even a news item. And I was telling family members what happened. And next thing you know, Randy Mueller is back with the Saints the very next day. That's like ridiculous, right? Unbelievable, right? No doubt. But yeah, man, we're going to cover this. We're going to talk about this and more in today's episode of the Coma. Yeah, it's old visionary history, bro. We know, bro. We was talking, ain't nobody was talking about this. And then up pops hot. What's the odds of that happening? What's the odds? All of the stuff we've been saying happens this year. All of the stuff we've been saying 4 years happens this year. The Randy Mueller thing, we'll touch on that today. All right. Yeah, absolutely, Brian. Y'all know, man. We talk about this every day. Y'all in here every day. We be open there, holding up, having a union meeting, talking Saints. All right. Gerard says, what? Why? We're going to get into it, brother. We're going to break it down because the man is good at what he does. The reason why Mueller, matter of fact, let's touch on that one first, bro. Let's touch on the Randy Mueller thing first. Randy Mueller should have never been fired. And when he was fired, the guy that took over the position that he was in was Mickey Loomis. That's how Mickey rose to power after the firing of Randy Mueller. But Randy Mueller was a very good general manager for the Saints. He was like the executive of the year, like I think a year or two prior to him. I think it was 2 years prior to him being fired. And then we talked about it last night, didn't we? How it all happened. Dennis Lauscher Dennis Lauscher and Ernie Ficklo, who's no longer with the team. I don't know if Ernie Ficklow's still alive or not, but Dennis Lauscher, who's the current president of the team, went to Tom Benson. Oh, look what he's doing over there with his Mickey voice. He channeled his inner jealous Mickey voice. Oh, hey, look what he's doing over there. Oh my God, he made a move without asking your permission. And Tom Benson said, hey, man, you can't do that. I'm the man. I'm hands-on. I'm the New Orleans version of the Dallas guy, Jerry Jones. I'm doing this and that. And he canned him for making a move without telling him. He canned him for that. Didn't give him a chance. Didn't give him hold on. You know what? That's strike one. I made mistakes when I was coming up. I wasn't perfect. We learned by our mistakes. I'm gonna give you another chance. Didn't do that. One hitter quitter, baby. But we're gonna talk about it though. All right. What's up, Booker? Big ups to you. Good to see you. Christopher, shout out to you. Good to see you, man, in the building as well. Jack says Randy Mueller coming back made me feel like the Dukes of Hazzard songs, the good old boys. He's back. What's up, Farouk? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Brother Gerard, man. Big ups to you, man. All right. Chris says, I'm not a fan of DA, but I see improvement in him, so I hope he see that. Now that's fair, Christopher. Shout out to you, man, because that's what listen, man. A lot of people can throw a lot of stuff at Dennis Allen, but like I told the family members, I said, man, listen, Dennis Allen is talking like we wanted him to talk. He's doing what he changed the offense and got guys that know what they can do. We still got our guys here, offensively speaking. He did improve the defense a lot, and it's never, let's just be very clear from a historical recent history standpoint about Dennis Allen, is that he's always have been a off-season personality, which means in the off-season, he's doing it. The energies are different. But when you get ready for the season to start, you're supposed to be pumped, amped, excited. That last press conference, the last couple of press conferences, his energy was a little down there. You got to lift that up, brother. You got to lift that up for the season, man. So, yeah, he's been talking right because he's under the gun. He's under the pistol. And the pistol is the pistol that the Who Dat Nation have firmly on him. And they're saying, hey, man, you got to get this or let the cannons blow. And we ain't talking Tampa Bay. All right. Big ups to you, man. All right. Soul Visionary says this may take a couple of posts, but some under Miss B too comfortable in making decisions like as long as it's mid and not too bad. I can raise up in the franchise. Thank you, bro. 504 says, Jeb Q, they talk about that in the book Fall of America. Every great society has fallen. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's historical thing. That's why there is like in some of the ancient cultures, they had a priest class. And we ain't talking about no good people. We talking about people that was all into all kind of other stuff. And when them people rise to prominence and when they start taking over, then everything goes down. And it's the spirit in these people that they can't do nothing with. They allow themselves, like I said, you are being a frequency and energy. That's the reality. That's the God's honest truth. You are a being of energy. You have what they call it, the solar plexus. Solar is another word for sun. You have that energy inside of you. That's what keeps you warm. And when you move on from this earthly form, that body turn cold and break apart and go back to which dirt it came from. But as often we know that whatever's in here isn't from here. It's not from here. It's from somewhere celestial. It's not from here. That's obvious the case because it lives longer than what you see here. This is not really who you are. But yes, when you got it's the spirit in certain people that allow themselves to fall into that energy. And then once they get there, they don't have the spiritual discipline or any other discipline for that matter to be able to fight it off and better themselves. So they embrace it and become what they are. They embrace it. So like I said, back in the day, they used to knock them off. I ain't lying to you, man. Go look it up. That's what they was doing. They was knocking them off big time, Now they kind of said to you, nah, hey, man, y'all, you can't do that. You can't let. I'm letting you know, man, that's what been happening. But they ain't playing. They was doing all kind. Man, if I can tell you what they were doing and they doing today, boy, you wouldn't believe it. Maybe I'll tell you on Q one day. We'll go over that because I think I covered some of that because there's a bunch of shows of this. I talked about a lot of this stuff on Q with Big Q on Patreon. All right, anyway, let's keep it moving, man. The reality of what we facing, like, and Christopher, shout out to you, man, is the point about Dennis Allen. You said you'd have seen improvement in Dennis Allen. I have seen improvement in Dennis Allen. I see him. I told you, talking better, talking accountability. He's talking attention to detail. He's talking these things. So as he picking the right people. Offensively speaking, he improved upon his defense. Still some stuff he got to work on. Now we move from talking to talk to walking the walk. Can he walk that walk? That's when it comes down to, can he walk the walk? And we'll see. First story, Saints hire Randy Mueller in an advisory role. Okay. Mueller is returning to the Saints. Very crazy. Jeff Duncan of NOLA.com reports that the Saints are hiring former general manager as a full-time advisor in the team's front office. Mueller served as the Saints GM from 2000 to 01 and later was the GM of the Dolphins from 05 to 07. He's most recently was the director of personnel with the Seattle Sea Dragons. He joins longtime friend General Manager Mickey Loomis in the front office, working primarily in the club's pro and college scouting departments. Working in primarily the club's pro and college scouting departments and assisting in strategic planning initiatives, according to Duncan. Mueller advised the Saints unofficially during the NFL draft, and he attended the team's training camp in California earlier this month. Did anybody know this? Did anybody know this? Did anything was reported about Randy Mueller being in that capacity? He becomes the third former general manager in the Saints front office, joining Dave Ziegler, who was the Raiders guy, Jeff Ireland, and Ziegler hired as a senior personnel advisor early this year and was the Raiders GM from 22 to 23. Ireland, who was the Saints director of college scouting and assistant general manager, was the Dolphins GM from 2008 to 2013. And he built a mean defense out there in Miami, by the way, Jeff Ireland did. Jeff Ireland has a gift, even though as of recent, a lot of the stuff he has been doing has been falling flat. A couple of the first round draft picks not measuring up. Peyton Turner, Davenport, and all these guys. Penning struggling. Can't say too much if Penning was a bad call on Ireland because of the way the Saints didn't develop Penning. Like in his first year, the Saints played him one game. The second year, they threw him in there. He flopped. Played like 5 or 6 games. They benched him. I think it was 5 games. Then they just actively benched him. They didn't deactivate him, but he was active, but just benched, buried in the active roster. Then with them having cap issues, they say, okay, let's move him to the opposite side and see if we can value the pick. That's why people asking about, hey, man, Q, what you think about Trevor Penning? Saints going to give him every opportunity to succeed, because if he doesn't succeed, that's another black eye in the face of Mickey Loomis, Jeff Ireland, Dennis Allen for picking first-round draft picks that are not ready to help. And to be quite honest with you, in year 3, that man should be ready in a role to really be doing what he's supposed to be doing. But like I said, a lot of that's both their problems. That's both their faults. And I've been saying that about the Saints. So if you put smoke on Penning, you better put smoke on Dennis Allen, because Dennis Allen used him in the wrong capacity. They rolled him out there. They put him in a position to fail. And now they're trying to redeem the kid. And I think he'll do all right, like I was saying, from the right tackle position. Now you have to run a scheme. You couple that with the fact that they have a new offensive scheme that they have to figure out. And Penning himself did say that the scheme is more of a fit. He said that in the press conference, is more of a fit with what they're doing versus what they did last year. Which is more of a fit because it's run heavy, and it allows him to put his hands on defenders and push them out the way. And that's what he really does best. He's a confident, driven player. He's a rhythm player. And when he starts blocking and moving and getting everything together, he will improve. As long as John Benton's on him, and as long as they keep giving them the reps, make sure they keep him up, keep updating and making sure he doesn't, he's not too high, making sure his head plan placements are right. All that is practice. All that is practice. You got to be practicing. Matter of fact, even though the Saints are off over the next couple of days, Penning should be really, if he's somewhere, Penning should be right now practicing. There should be no off days for Trevor Penning. Not what he needs to catch up. He had his off days the first year and the second year, much of the first 5 games he played and all that time he had off. Now he needs to be actively doing every day as much as he can possibly do out there, working on technique, working with coaches or whoever work with him on the off day. That's what he needed to be doing, right? Maybe not right now because it's almost even right now. Shit, what else you can do? You don't drive an airplane. You don't pilot no airplane. You don't run on no train nowhere. You ain't growing no gardens. You are an offensive tackle. You need to be working on your craft. That's what you need to be doing. But anyway, in terms of the Randy Mueller story for him coming back to the Saints in the capacity, you have to look at it. This is, and think about it like this. This is my thoughts on it. When Mickey Loomis bringing back Randy Mueller, and even though they calls him more as an advisor, remember what Mickey Loomis told you last year that he didn't do in-season evaluations during the season because he's too emotional. Is Randy Mueller's job to do in-season evaluations? Is it a way to get some of these other guys like Ziegler and Mueller to do the jobs, to split the jobs as the general manager does, without giving up the general manager position, bringing advisors as they call, even though they saying they're going to be advising, but be actually probably going to be doing activities. Could this be a way that Mickey Loomis is dividing responsibilities of the general manager without surrendering the position? That's what I think it is, because Randy Mueller was a real solid general manager, a likable dude. He knows football, high IQ guy, did a good job early on with the Saints. Like I said, he won the executive of the year when he was with the Saints. And then about a year later, or maybe 2 years, I forget, they fired him. They put him in the street. But he should have never been fired. And he should have been back a long time ago. But I think what this is, I think it's a situation where I think a lot of these guys that's advisors are guys that are going to be doing some of the stuff that Mickey Loomis is supposed to be doing. Like what a general manager do. A lot of that is going to be, in my opinion, divided because Mickey Loomis hadn't been doing that shit. He hadn't been advising and doing nothing in a very long time. But he's not going to give up the general manager position. That's why we kept saying and telling people that he needs to be removed from the general manager. But gutless leadership like Lauscher will not tell him, hey, man, listen, we need to do something else because you're getting up there in age. You've been doing this for 20 years for us. We appreciate your contribution, but we need a younger person there. He doesn't have any vision. He operating a job that he is not qualified for. He's a businessman and basically a smart businessman and an accountant. It had nothing to do with knowing no football stuff. He always, you got to ask Mickey Loomis and all that kind of bull. You got to know, man, at least half of what he knows. What if he's mischievous and wants to push your ass out the way? Then you just a big fat catfish and Mickey got the net ready to catch him if that's the case. But anyway, a little history, fam. Let's look at the history right here of the move, because some people might not remember Randy Mueller, but this used to be a general manager back in the day for the Saints when Jim Haslett was the head coach prior to Sean Payton. This is an article back from May the 9th of 2002, which talked about the firing of Randy Mueller. I read some of this on the previous show. Saints owner Tom Bisson unexpectedly fired general manager Randy Mueller and took over the job himself, citing differences in management style. Mueller earned the NFL Executive of the Year honor in 2000 for a rebuilding job that helped the team gain its first playoff victory. That's when he won that. This was totally a bolt from the blue. I am shocked, said Mueller. He met Thursday morning with Benson the day after returning from a 2-day trip around Louisiana to promote the Saints ticket sales. He asked me to resigned. I refused, Mueller said. I didn't want to leave here. I had hoped to make New Orleans my home for the rest of my career. When I refused, he fired me. This is what Mueller's saying now. I was trying to find a video for it, but it's not available. Benson did not rule out eventually hiring another general manager. He said events leading to Mueller's release had been building because of communication problems. I am more of a hands-on owner, Benson said. In some cases, decisions were made without me. He said he was not told that running back Ricky Williams was going to be traded to the Dolphins in March. That's totally false, Mueller said. I can promise you we discussed everything with him. Mueller said Benson's lawyers had contacted him just last week to discuss contract renewal, up in his contract. The discussion was always about extending the contract. He always made that clear. That's what he wanted me to do, Mueller said. Benson said the firing had nothing to do with wins and losses. The Saints dropped 7-9 last season, nor with Mueller having discussed the job with the Falcons at the Super Bowl. The Falcons general manager, Harold Richardson, resigned Thursday. That's coincidental, Benson said. Mueller joined the Saints in 2000 when the team revamped its staff after going 3-13 in 1999. You want to talk about bad time, young Who-Dats? And soon hired head coach Jim Haslett. Benson said he hopes Haslett, a friend of Mueller, stays with the team, which he did. Mueller inherited the team with little talent, a few draft picks, but he rebuilt the roster with productive free agents and shrewd trades, including acquiring Aaron Brooks from Green Bay. The Saints rebounded to go 10-6 in 2000. So in 9-9, they were 3-13, and the Saints went 10-6 in 2000 because of Randy Mueller. Finishing atop the NFC West and beating reigning Super Bowl champion St. Louis in the first round playoff game. But New Orleans tied for third in the division last season, and ticket sales have been slow. Saints recently said they sold only 25,000 season tickets for the coming season, the fewest in the team's 35-year history. Then it goes into what he was paid, his salary, and they said Mueller's hiring 2 years ago came as a part of sweeping change that sent Mike Dick a pack, and y'all remember all that, Mike Dick and all that foolishness. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of brief y'all on the history of Randy Mueller, being that the Saints have brought Randy Mueller back in the capacity. And Randy Mueller was a good general manager. He was. Now, I don't know, he hadn't participated at that level, but he was still very much involved in professional football. So we'll see how this looks. But in my opinion, this could be a situation where you could see Mickey Loomis using Mueller and all these other guys in some capacity to kind of divvy up some of that general manager job, to have them to do some of these evaluations that Mickey told y'all that he didn't do because he was too emotional to do them. Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat if y'all remember that. And the smoke of everything been saying about how antiquated the Saints situation is under them. They need more basketball brains there. Now, I'll hire you as long as I am the man. I'll bring you back as an advisor. But well, remember, who's the big guy? That's me. I'm Slick Mickey. Yeah, Slick Mickey, very slick. Y'all seeing it. Y'all seeing it first straight up out of there. We just giving a guy an opportunity. That's all it is. You're overreading it, Q. No, I'm not. This is some change that's happening. Some of this stuff that will happen, like what you see with the Saints, instead of them restructuring the organization, this is an attempt to kind of breach some of the gaps in lack of, like I said, during the season. And another thing that's very strategic is the timing of this move, right? Think about the timing. You got a few days before the week that starts the preparation for the Carolina Panthers and into the regular season. The timing of said maneuver, it is exactly tied to some of those things that we were hammering about Mickey Loomis not doing as a general manager. Come on now. Great Saint think tank. We in this thing, man. Very strategic at the start of the regular season. Just saying, man, we talked about this guy and talked about this history yesterday, and then they reported today, and nobody was talking about Randy Mueller. Was that a coincidence? I'll tell you, man, boy, the Saints are pretty clever, aren't they? Or should I say slick?